Welcome, everybody. My name is Miguel. In case you don't know me, I'm just waiting. We are about to start our monthly conversations with my friend Rebecca. So I'm just going to wait for her to jump on real quick. For anyone who's joining us, we are doing these monthly lives. We are calling them Savvy Salseros, coast-to-coast conversations on dance, community, health, and entrepreneurship. And my name is Miguel Ceron. I'm waiting for my friend Rebecca Pizarro. Rebecca is a doctor of physical therapy, so she brings in a lot of the conversation around health and just wellness in general. And my name is Miguel Ceron. I am a business coach for artists, and I both run a community organization focused around the Latino community, as well as a nonprofit for artists, helping them build businesses. So I bring in a lot of the conversations around entrepreneurship. And so we talk about how those two things relate to the salsa scene primarily. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it.
How are you?
I can see you. Everything works. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. We generally struggle with this.
Always.
I know, right? This is the first time yet.
Yeah.
So I
It's
was just
2025.
I know, right? We're off to a good start. Knock on something. I'm like, I want to go back to, now that we're talking about a new year, I want to go back to my custom of, rather than saying hello and how are you, I've mentioned this to you, I like to ask you to share something that you loved about last week and something you're excited about this week.
Anything, right?
Anything. Yeah.
Anything. Sleeping 8 hours.
That's a gain. For anyone who's just joining us today, Rebecca talks a lot about sleeping 8 hours, which is like gold.
I do. It's funny because I used to have this thing with, I love to sleep. I love to sleep. I can sleep anywhere. I can take naps. I'll sleep on a plane, a train, on top of a box with a fox, like all the things. It didn't matter. But I always felt this like sleeping guilt because I associated sleeping and resting with being lazy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I read this book called Why We Sleep that I actually had the language to be like, no, sleep is important and my body needs more of it compared to you. My circadian rhythm is different. I'm more of a night owl than a early bird, right? So it's just, I'm different, but I have all this guilt of like sleeping in and like staying up late, but that just happens to be who I am as a person, right? And I can't fight my biology. I mean, I can, and I do fight my biology, but right, especially those of us who are night owls. So yeah, I've learned to be at peace and be like, nope, I'm not lazy. I look at everything I've accomplished, and yeah, I'm a badass bitch.
Fuck yes. Sorry, excuse our language, but yes, that is very key. Like recognizing your own worth you don't need to prove anything to anybody, but like recognizing it for yourself is such a key thing to being comfortable with yourself and just move to your own pace.
Right. And I feel like a lot of dancers, and especially the ones on teams, they err towards that side of being night owls, hence why maybe they do a little bit better. And they might struggle with this and being like, oh, but I can't sleep because you need to get up and go to work, which was always my struggle, right? But then allowing yourself that rest that you need in order to be able to then do the thing you want to do, right? So that's how I relate this back to dancing, and particularly in our industry, which is so different from any other industry when it comes to performance and rehearsals and all of that.
Yeah, our rhythms we don't have regular schedules, I think, in general, like most other dance styles or most other art forms. It brought a memory to mind. Like I used to, in the last team that I was on, whenever we would go to congresses, my dance team would always, and even my director would always get like frustrated because any chance I got, I would nap. And so you'd find me at like 2 p.m. the day that we had to rehearse, like, or the day that we had to perform, like knocked out on the bed. And they're like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I just need to sleep.
I need to rest so I can perform.
Exactly.
What a concept.
I know, right? What? But now you've like validated it for me. I'm like, I knew it.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. So that's what I looked forward to. That's what I loved about last week, right? Just I have this week. So next week is Summit, and there are a ton of dancers getting ready for Summit, last minute rehearsals and performances. Everybody's performing everywhere, I feel like, this weekend, just trying to get the reps in before the competition. And yeah, I'm looking forward to being there for
Ooh,
people.
fun.
Yes, I will be there. Thank you
Great.
to Billy and Billy Pardo.
Really,
Yep.
sweetheart.
Mm, and then being able to be there for the dancers. So if
Mhm.
anybody's interested, I will be there doing complimentary consultations, 20 minutes. Come talk to me about your issues, whether it's an injury, old or new. Come talk to me about injury prevention, warm-ups. Come talk
Yeah,
to me about
fun to people.
optimizing performance. Right, exactly. So I am there to be a resource for people. I won't be treating at the event because number one, I don't have a license in Jersey.
Is it
So,
in
and that's
Jersey now?
yeah, it's in Jersey.
Oh,
And I
I didn't
don't
know
have a
that.
license in Jersey. And just because I cross a river, I can't treat. So if
Right.
anybody wants the treatment, they have to come to New York and we can make an appointment there. But also, I won't have my partner in crime, my husband, who helps me with like scheduling as I'm treating and talking to people. And it's when I'm a one woman show, it's not. I tried to do it once and I was
Mm-hmm.
completely burnt out. It's just not possible. So to give everyone the experience of and my full attention, I'm just going to be talking to people and
Oh, yeah.
seeing the performances and whatnot. So that's what I'm looking forward to next week.
Good, good. I love that. And I think that it's smart to like know and recognize what your what your limitations are when you don't have that extra person, because it's very easy to just say, "Oh, I'll handle it all," and just to your point, kind of like not be able to. And it shows that you value kind of the time that you spend with
Right,
people, right?
right, right, right,
So
right.
that's very important. I think that it's so common in general for people to want to like handle everything and to overdo it. That causes burnout in general with any situation, whether it's in dance or in any other like entrepreneurial situation.
Yep.
Handling everything as an entrepreneur is not sustainable by any means.
No, no, yeah, no. Do what you can. I got this from a mentor of mine. Do the 20% that matters, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
going to lead to an 80%, ROI,
Yeah.
right? So do the stuff that works and whatever else you
Yeah.
can do, like either,
Yeah.
hire,
Learning to prioritize
hire
your
out,
responsibilities. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, learning to
all of that.
prioritize your responsibilities and knowing what is going to bring you the highest gain, and that's what you focus on first, and then everything else becomes tertiary, or to your point, you hire somebody else to do it.
Right, right, right. So continuing down, learning that as I go, right? Because
Yeah, it's
it's
not
like,
easy.
do I need to do this? I don't know. Maybe.
No, we've been trained to do it the other way around, so it's
Yes, we've been trained to do everything.
yeah,
Do it all.
yeah.
No, I'm
Hmm.
done with that.
Yeah. So
What about you?
all right. Well, last week, so I started doing interviews and I've finished and posted one of the interviews that I did with one of the artists this week, but it's part of a campaign that I'm doing for my nonprofit, a fundraising campaign, and it features different artists and having conversations about what they value about their art. And the campaign is called Art Beyond Entertainment, and it focuses on all of the benefits that we get from art that are not entertainment to showcase the benefits that we don't attribute to artists, which leads to our devaluation of the art form. So I'll be posting a few clips on social media, but you can find it on YouTube
Nice.
under my organization's handle. It's the Bad Collab Arts is the YouTube name, but go check it out. His name is Dan. He's a painter, but his whole conversation is around identity and how he found his community and his freedom as an artist through embracing his Latino and gay identity. And so a lot of his art is kind of focused on that, but he talked about wanting to build more community there. And we talked about everything from the Latino identity and the difficulties of building a career in the arts as a Latino, and then the difficulties of doing it as the only person in your
Right.
family, a lot of the nuances, but then went into all of the benefits that he likes his art to offer other people. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I actually saw the reel. I saw the clip and I was like, oh, this is good. I love it.
yeah, we're
It's
doing
really
more.
good.
There's a few other clips that we pulled out, which is really good. We talked about obviously entrepreneurship, recognizing the fact that your art has value and that there is a business side to your art, whether you're a dancer, and this is common. I have one other interview that I did, and same thing. Like we talked about the fact that there is a moment where you recognize that you have to have a business mindset when you do your art if you want to build a career out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, and we talked about it at our last conversation, how it's very difficult to manage both kind of brains meant to toggle between the two, and how in general most other art forms, when you're talking about a large company, have two people at the top running one side or the other. Or
Mm-hmm.
I think you've alluded to the fact that your husband and you kind of balance each other out in that sense. And that generally is, I think, the best way to do it. But when we're entrepreneurs, it's very difficult, right? Because it's just you. I came to the realization in that call that artist entrepreneurs have it twice as hard as most, because entrepreneurs go through having to handle everything, having to like worry about whether they're going to make it and things like that. But as artists who already have obstacles prior to in building a career in art, it's almost twice as hard, right? Because you already have that doubt of, well, is art even going to be a sustainable career?
Right, right. Because you need to do both.
Mm-hmm.
They're two separate things
Yeah.
that you're bringing together. And normally, if you have who's the person who's has that artist heart, it's like that's where they live, right? And that's where they're comfortable in, and having to step into this entrepreneur life is like WTH, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there really isn't
Yeah.
training for it.
No.
Like,
No.
like there's entrepreneurship training, but rarely does that training cater to artists either.
Interesting, really.
Yeah, it's a general entrepreneur training. Like you can go to like the Chamber of Commerce in most cities offers entrepreneurial training, but rarely is that catered to an arts-based business. And we've talked about how education systems don't necessarily teach it either. So part of what my organization is aiming to do is cater specifically to that niche, taking every entrepreneurial training program that is out there and kind of catering it to artists. So that's the goal actually of the fundraising campaign, is to raise the money for educational programs that I want to build. So there'll be a business 101 course, a workshop series that caters specifically to managing, first building a business and then managing a business as an artist.
That's awesome. When's that coming?
When I can fundraise the money. If you guys are interested, please visit the Give Butter page. You can look it up by the name. So Art Beyond Entertainment on givebutter.com. And there's all of the details for the campaign, the reasoning kind of behind it, everything that we just talked about right now. There's a lot more detail, facts and figures on the statistics for artists, which are kind of daunting and surprising. Obviously, we know that the life of an artist is a struggle, but in comparison to other industries, the arts and culture industry as a whole contributes significantly more than agriculture, than transportation and tourism to the national GDP, and yet artists are paid well below the national average in the sense of salary.
So who's getting paid then?
All of the admin and the arts managers and the VPs and EVPs of companies
that sell the artists? That I'm so like I don't know.
Actually, from the arts and culture sector, the biggest contribution is streaming services. But I mean, I don't know if anybody's followed the case against the owner of Spotify for like not actually doing what he set out to do, which was to offer a space for artists to actually earn money. I think artists are earning like cents on the dollar for anything that he receives, and he's making millions of dollars every year. And so there's a case against him. But that's the case for most other streaming services, is they're making so much money, but the artists that are creating all of the art that they're making the money off of, they're not getting paid enough. And I think that's a common thing. That's something that I've heard kind of rumblings of for many years. But I think it wasn't until I started investigating a little bit more that I realized that it's very true. Like, and that's the case in almost any situation where you are working for someone. You can apply that to business and anything else, right? If you're an employee, you're not making anywhere near what the president of any company is making. So at least for me, it's a motivation to want to go off on our own and try to build something independent of the normal structures of business.
Right.
But
that's what I did.
Right.
That's completely what I did.
Yeah, same here. Like I worked in corporate for 14 years, and that realization that you're very dispensable in any corporate setting, and that to me was it was a hard pill to swallow. But when I tied it to what artists are going through, it's very similar, and I would rather just build something with artists who are more innately people-centric, and hopefully be able to build structures that don't necessarily operate that way.
Right. So that they have more control over it.
you can actually be the one who benefits from your art. Like you
Right.
should be the one who benefits the most from your art,
Right.
and that's not really the case in any other setting.
Well, yeah, yeah, no, I get that. And yes, 100% true in other scenarios, for sure. Very interesting. Cool. Well, what else is up for today? I know you mentioned January
Yeah.
is National Something Month, but you're really good at
Yeah,
this.
so yeah, we're going back to our roots, right? Like, so I do talk a lot about how you can use different holidays to your advantage. So January is National Hobby Month. So think think of those of us who started out dancing as a hobby and then turned it into a career. And then it's also National Mentorship Month. So
Mm,
anyone who has a mentor, shout out to your mentors. Be grateful and thankful for everything that they've done and how they've helped you and wherever you are today, whether it's your dance mentor or your career mentor. Very important. And then learning how to use those to your advantage. Like I think if you think about it, it's January, National Hobby Month. What are people doing in January? They're starting new hobbies because that's their New Year's resolution. Take advantage of that and use it to campaign for your dance studio, for your dance
yeah,
classes.
for sure. And then trying to think from my point of view, yeah, that's like a good way to try and get people in.
Yeah. And if you think about it, the most popular New Year's resolutions revolve around health. So for you, around health, around whether it's dietary health or physical health and going to the gym. I think 2 months ago we talked about how gyms in January spend so much money on their ad campaigns to like get people to sign up for the gyms. Try to
I
use
mean, January is their biggest month.
exactly.
Like, they're
So that's a market that they have,
hmm
and your goal is potentially to take part of that market for yourself,
right.
right? If you could claim that you can do some of those things better, then do that, and that's how you're going to pull from the market. And I think that one of the benefits that we have as dancers is we can offer a lot of the same things that the gym can offer in the sense of exercise and actually add the fun
Fun.
element, the community element, which is even better.
You took the words right out of my mouth. It's
Yes.
just that we are doing the physicality part, the dancing part, but it's also mental health, it's community, it's
Yeah.
people, it's
Oh,
fun, right?
mental health is a whole other is one of the top priorities for New Year's resolutions as well.
Right. There you go. So joining a dance
Interesting.
class would be amazing.
Yeah, I'm actually working on a promo carousel. I took the top 10 New Year's resolutions,
Mm.
and six of them a dance class will kind of suffice for. And so there's mental health, de-stressing, work-life balance, spending time with a family and friends, and physical health.
Oh, I have something for you. You should make like a PDF or something and have it as a downloadable,
Yeah,
not a post, but like a downloadable resource that then
I
business owners can come in and like, here, take
yeah,
my stuff,
yeah,
right?
good call. I hadn't thought about that. I will do that. Which I did do for another project that I'm working on. But yeah, that's a good call. Like these are the different ways that you can use these to kind of like campaign for yourself. I guess the other thing I've been talking about, I'm actually hosting a workshop tonight for reflection. So we talked a little bit about reflection last month, but I realized that that's something we ignore a lot as dance entrepreneurs. We do it a lot in our dance because we reflect on every run through that we do on every like
Mm.
we're trying to improve our dance and like that there is reflection
Or
there.
we should.
Or we should, right. Fact.
Let's step back. You're assuming
I
a lot right now for
am
me.
assuming I
You're
guess. I like
assuming
to give people
people
credit.
are reflect. I know, but let's talk about that because that's
Yeah.
important. We're assuming people dance and then reflect on how that dance went, right?
Very true.
And whether how it felt, the
Mm,
emotion, the person you
mm.
were
Oh, it's
dancing
such
with.
a deep thing. Like there's so
Yeah.
many parts that go to it.
And I feel it's easier now to not internally reflect, but externally reflect because we have cameras right on our phone. You can just pop them up. You can actually do the move. You can analyze. You can watch it over, right? Like when we were doing this, our phones were not recording this long video, right? The quality was shit.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
cursing today.
Ah,
And you didn't get that much. The best you got was just feedback from someone who watched it live.
yeah.
So and that, people can miss stuff. So yeah, reflection is such a big key in everything, but
Mhm.
since we're talking dance specific, right, making sure you reflect on and focus on the things you can change, right? You can't change when somebody else messed up, but focus on things that you can change. to better your dance.
Right. And to your point, use the resources that you have available. Set up a structure that will allow you to reflect. Know what you want to work on, and then you can reflect on that. And that's in your dance as in your business. If you like when you're building a business, when you set out to do something, have a plan and then reflect on that plan. Right? And so I'm hosting a workshop on reflection for your 2020 kind of experiences, everything that you did, whether it's strategies that you put into place, whether it's projects that you started and finished, with the hope of kind of setting you up for 2025 so that you can set up goals that are built on just the knowledge that you've gained from 2024, which is that big transition time period. We often just like go into the new year just looking forward to like the new goals that we set. But if we don't reflect on what we did the previous year, then we don't know what we did right, we don't know what we did wrong, and we don't know why. And so, yeah, exactly. And at that point, why make plans if you're not going to reflect on them, right? Yeah. So if anyone's interested, tonight, 5 p.m. California, 8 p.m. New York. It's a virtual event, so you're welcome to attend. If you go to my Instagram page on the first link, there's an RSVP form. And it's on Partyful. You just RSVP and it'll give you the link to attend tonight.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, and then at the end you'll get a worksheet that you can use for any project that you do.
That's awesome. Look at you. I love it.
I'm trying little by little. Resources as much as I can.
Yes, I love it. All right, cool. Well, I don't know. I don't have anything else on my end. I've just been kind of chugging along all the internal back end stuff. Seriously, no, it's just like a lot of back end stuff. And
it's the beginning of the year. I think it generally is a lot of the like you're like wanting to put things into place that are gonna like set you up. I think is a lot of people kind of like have not necessarily a lull, but they take a step back at the beginning of the year. Obviously, there's also family stuff.
Yeah, I think with the holidays and now like it's just cold. Someone mentioned this to me once, and it just made it felt better to do it this way, which is this. I don't like New Year goal setting. I actually don't like to do it at all because it still feels dark outside. It still feels like I'm in this little cocoon and I'm in a bubble and I'm just like, it's just me and like I'm still hibernating, so to speak. Yeah. It doesn't feel like I'm ready to like pop out, right? And so I'm still doing all of this stuff, and that's what it feels like in the back end. And funnily enough, right, the goal is to get it done by like early March or like, you know, late March, and have that kind of set up right when spring is going to come in. So I think timing wise, spring feels more like a good time to like set new goals and like, this is what I want to do based on what's been happening over the winter, right? So like still hibernating, and then let's see this, and then, you know, reflect. For me, I did this already. I told you, I think in the last conversation. Yeah, we reflected like end of fall, beginning of winter, right? Which made more sense. So like now I have this information. Now let's you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Let's sit with it, let it ruminate. Yeah, let's see where this comes out and what comes out of it. Put the plans in place in winter, and then launch spring sometime. That felt more natural to me. So I think
that's and there's a way to do it where you do it every 6 months because the seasons kind of follow that. Like you have the spring and you have the fall. But if you really think about it, there's quarters to a year, right? And you can run it by quarters too. And so every quarter you can do a new reflection and like see it through for 3 months and analyze it for 3 months. And that's really up to you how you want to do it.
Have you read the 12-week year?
No.
I think that is essentially the book, right? So 12 weeks, instead of planning out the year, you do 12 weeks in a year. So like each week is a month.
Week at a time, it's 3 months. It's a quarter.
Exactly. Right. So, but doing it, because I read the beginning of the book, I haven't finished it yet, but it was like, why do people get so productive at the end of the year? It's such an arbitrary deadline. Like December 31st is so arbitrary. Like why? But like everybody has agreed that that's the end of the year and that's the deadline. So people like hustle and get stuff out because it's the fourth quarter and you got to get it done, right?
Yeah.
So he's saying if you can apply that same methodology, right? And so like 12 weeks from January, whatever that happens to be, like that's a year, and like you have to get stuff done. Then you get more stuff done over the course of the year. You might like that.
that's what I learned in retail. Like retailers do this every quarter. You have at the beginning of the quarter you have your plans for the quarter, and at the end of the quarter you do a reflection. And granted, I've told you this as well. We used to reflect every week, but that was like for 6 hours a week. But that's how the retail system or any retailer out in the country operates. They work off of quarters, and they've split it so that the holidays that are incorporated into the quarter are what they revolve their marketing around. And so, and what's interesting about what you just said about the fourth quarter, like in December being kind of the benchmark, in retail, fourth quarter is December through February.
Ah,
So that might align more with what you want to see in March, right?
yeah,
In spring. So
exactly.
yeah. So that's fourth quarter. That would be a goal I would kind of suggest to you is aim to get there. Obviously, you're not starting at that point. It's going to be very difficult. But if you do it like Rebecca's doing, where you kind of start at a 6 month cycle and then, or at analyzing your full year and then starting again in the full year, which we're all kind of used to, then take it to 6 months. And then once you've mastered the 6 months, take it to the quarters and then
Yeah.
do more analysis and document as much as you can everything, because that's how you learn. That's how you set standards. And that's obviously, I say that knowing and spending 14 years in retail where I did that, but like it takes training. It takes training yourself to
Yeah.
document things. I talk to a lot of the artists that I coach, and like that's their biggest hurdle, documenting. But that's how you validate everything that you've done. Anytime anybody
Right.
asks you like, hey, what do you do about this? If you don't have it documented, like it's just hearsay.
Damn it, Miguel. Fine, I'll start documenting.
I always I find it funny that people like the number of times people are like, "Oh, fine with me." It's so funny, but it's and obviously easier said than done because even I don't do it all the time,
Right.
but I try to tell you so that like it's things that even I'm working on, kind of setting in place for myself. But I'd rather tell you so that you're aware of them, and if you could do it, then great. Then maybe later you can tell me how you did
Right, right, right.
it.
Oh man. Yeah. Okay, documenting. Got it. There is one thing I
Mhm.
know I have to start documenting. I
Yeah,
don't need to bore people with the
yeah, I
details, but
know
yes.
exactly.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I need to go treat
Yeah.
somebody at 2 o'clock
Yes. Then
and maybe
I
eat
have to
some
go over
lunch.
her.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Lovely talking with you,
All right.
Miguel.
You too, boo. We'll see each other again next
Yes.
month.
Yes. Third Thursday of
Yeah.
every month.
Yes. 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 All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.